Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am here with Gail Robertson of GailNow, and I'm very excited. Today, we're going to take a little bit of a look into her kind of marketing tech, like website SEO, and like the spider webbing of her social. So welcome, Gail.
Welcome. How are you, Amanda?
I'm doing good. It's so good to see you. And yeah, it's been a while, but I love seeing you every time I see you. So.
Well, thank you. And likewise, I think we first crossed paths through Global Tea Break. So it was on a global basis. And I'm excited because normally, I have someone on the hot seat or I'm working with a client and looking at their social. So you know what they say, the cobbler's shoes and all that, right? So now it's time. And so it was a little bit, as I said, a little bit daunting to now be in the spotlight on having my stuff looked at. But you know what? This is how we learn. This is how we grow. And as we talked about, I'm excited about making some changes in my world on my company side. So I'm excited.
Yeah, that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about your company and, how you help people.
Okay. So my company is GailNow, and I help manufacturers tell their stories that will help them lead to greater connections and then indeed greater business. So I use a 3-step process, which is sign up, suit up, and show up. And I use curiosity. So I like to say curiosity is my superpower. And I try to encourage my various clients to really tap into their curiosity and also using that to help pull the stories out of them. I'm a recovering journalist. So my background is in, finding the stories, telling the stories. And now I use that as part of my my main business goal in working with manufacturers, and specifically in manufacturing, I work with the people who make things that make things.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. So not like the manufacturers, but the manufacturers that make the things that, like the tools, basically, that make the actual products.
Yes. So there's a lot, what I've learned in working in the world of mold making. So that's my main area right now that I work in is mold making, which is they're the people that, and it's tool making. So they make the tools, and then that would go to a molder who then pours the plastic in, as one example. But there's also people that make the tools that make the tools. And then there's people that sell the equipment. And there are so many, different types of machines and laser items. And then there's automation side of things. And we do not realize when we pick up, I use example, even, the plastic around our cell phone covers, our cups, our plastic bottles that we drink from, those big tubs that we store stuff in. Well, that all those items would not be possible without mold makers and tool makers and molders. So yeah, it's fascinating and really makes you think about all of the products. I'm looking at my keyboard case, right? Plastic touches us in so many parts of our life. So we need to tell more of these stories because these people behind the scenes are doing great things, and we need to support them, because when we hear what's happening with the whole supply chain and issues with steel, we better understand what's happening there, because it's going to impact our world if we're not encouraging more and supporting more manufacturing behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's so cool, and such a good reminder. And you're right, like we take for granted so much, and we don't even think about like how it even gets to us, and yeah, that's so cool.
Well, and kind of a good say what we're talking about today, behind the scenes, how things are made. I mean, our website is something that, it's not just what you see on the outside, it's all the hidden components behind. So so I thought it's kind of interesting that we are actually looking at, it's kind of similar. You're kind of like the person who is knowing what's happened behind you can have a beautiful website, but if it's not working behind the scenes. So
yeah, awesome. I love it. So I'm going to go ahead and share, because I already have all of the things pulled up, I do believe. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So Gail's website is amazing. This is her, and she is hilarious in all of her photos and all of her everything. She just brings her personality into everything, which I love. So that is awesome. So one of the first things we're going to look at is going to be this. And I did a little GT metrics test. I did that a little bit ago, a little bit before we started. So overall, your loading time is pretty good. You're under a second, which is awesome. You do have some large layout shifts, which is really more about like when you look at your website, like, you know, you have kind of this stuff going on, which
Right.
is the slider and that kind of thing. But for having all of that, your website loads fabulously. So I think that's awesome. So that is great. This is the audit that I ran for SEO, and I have not looked at it yet. So we're going to look at it together for the first time. And so let's see. Overall score, 5.3. I don't even know what these are. Okay, so it looks like you're missing some meta descriptions, which is very, very easy to fix. Those are probably one of the most commonly overlooked things because it's not something that you think about, and also Google kind of takes care of it for you, but it might not be displaying what you want it to display. So there's always that, and you can actually control which keywords you're showing up for and those kind of things by doing those meta descriptions. You are missing an H1 on the author page. So just like your heading, whatever that is on there, let's go look. Speaker. I'm not even sure where that page is exactly, but
okay.
Let's see if this is a clickable link. Go to, okay, so here it is. Okay, so yeah, so this would probably be where you would want to turn that into an H1 because that would be the most representative keyword. So
now you say turn into an H1. What does that mean?
So it's a heading tag. So for example, well, on any of your other pages, really, we'll just go to your home page. All right, so your heading, which I'm not even sure what your heading is on this, it's probably one of these two messages, but your heading is going to be here, and it's just you giving it like the right coding of text in order to say this is the most important part of this page, basically.
Gotcha. Yep.
And then these three would be probably H2 tags.
Gotcha. Yep.
And then that way they're like subcategories of that H1. And then this is just going to be regular text. So it just gives Google really a little bit more information about what the most important things on each page are. So,
okay. Gotcha.
So let's see, going back here. So yeah, the meta descriptions, those are going to be what shows up on Google. So like, for example, you can see right now, this is what shows up on Google. So it says GailNow is a privately owned micro business, which provides consulting service and project management, as well as coaching and training in the areas of, and you can see that little ... That means that Google is just kind of picking something and also truncating it because it's not like the right size. So if you were to go in and customize that, so you could go and say, GailNow works with, manufacturers and specifically in the mold making industry, that is going to give you a lot more SEO kind of juice, and also give Google the exact information about what your website is about. And that's going to give you a little bit more help, really.
Wow. And you've just explained that so well. I just want to say that is really an excellent way to explain and connect the dots. So thank you. That was very helpful.
Yeah, definitely. And you can see it pulls a little bit here from each of these pages. So if you just go in and really talk about exactly what you want to talk about on each of those pages, I feel like there's a lot of great things that could be said in this little tiny bit that is missing, because it's pulling the same one for each of these, when it could be talking about like social media for X, Y, or Z, or just those keywords that could be in there. So I think that would be great. And then, so yeah, once you do that, and I'll send you this report once I download it.
Cool.
What is this? Yeah, your canonical link, which is fine. Those are not as important because it looks like they're all the same. Yeah. Okay. Contact forms. You don't have any contact forms, which I feel like I don't like contact forms. That's just my personal preference.
Yeah.
But I have a little bot or whatever, like a chat thing, you know? Like it's just, I don't know. I don't like giving contact forms or filling them out.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm fine. It seems like so long time ago.
Yeah,
you had to do that.
Yeah. Yep. And so one of your titles is a little long, which is on, let's see, how curiosity can help your business. How can curiosity help your business to be its best? So that looks like a blog post.
Yeah,
maybe.
it was a blog post. Yeah.
So that title is just a little bit long. It's giving a little bit of a red error there. Let's go up. So missing some, H1, H2 there. The length is, they're giving a thing that says the length is not good for those. All of these things are very, very, very detail-oriented things that none of us, and I'm going to tell you this, no web designer is thinking of these things when they're designing a website. Like, it's just not happening. So that's something that is also a really important part of when you are, as anybody that's listening, when you look at your website or you get an SEO report done on your website, realizing that all of these things are kind of coming up as issues, it's bound to happen unless you have someone who's trained in both web design and SEO building your website, because it's just two different things, and very rarely do those two things come together. So,
it's interesting, Amanda, that more and more, when I'm working with clients, that's what I'm working with on their pages, is making sure that there's a combination. Because a website, I do know this, a website can look great, but it's what happens when you peel back the curtain. So this is very helpful to go through it, because, as we said, this is not something, obviously, my site has been a lower priority as I've worked on with other clients, but that's a really good point.
Yes, and that's the same with me. Like, I have put mine off, and I've just, on my blog or on my podcast website, I have a podcast website, and then I have my business website. And on my podcast website, I've literally never optimized any blog post. I've never written out the show notes. I mean, I have a widget that puts the show notes on there, but it doesn't optimize them for writing. They're optimized for speech. So it's not going to give me all of that. So I recently hired someone to help me convert every single podcast episode into a blog post. However, I'm at 160 episodes. So it's a long-term project for sure.
Yeah.
And it's all, and every week we release 2 more episodes. So it's just this never-ending project that's just always going to be there. So, but luckily I'm at a stage in my business where I can not have to do that myself, and finally know that I have to do it in order to get more exposure. So it's one of those things that like you said, the shoemaker's children never have shoes, right?
Very true. Very true. But you got to start somewhere, right? So.
Yep, exactly. So I just downloaded this. So I'm going to email this to you afterwards. So then that way you can kind of go through and look at all of those things in detail, and maybe even just check them off as you go. So that'll be really handy.
This is perfect timing, because I am doing a fairly significant makeover of the website, keeping the blog and the speaker page, but I'm going to be revising the main page. And so good time to be looking at correcting some of these things as we go.
That's awesome. I love it. All right. So let's look at your links. About, blog, speaker, work with, looks good. And you have an email. This is one of my pet peeves, is the email button. Nobody has an email button, and I'm it would be so easy if someone could just send you an email right from your website, and all that good stuff. So I think all of these links work. So this is one of our, that one works. This is one of our important portions. And that one works too. Yep, load it up. LinkedIn. And I already have all these links open just because I took them from the sheet that you filled out, but perfect. And then we have Instagram. Looks good. And how am I not following you on Instagram? I thought I was. I wonder if I'm logged in as something else. I might be logged in as a client or something.
Okay. Now this is interesting. My YouTube is where I'm going to be spending some time because I have so much content there. So that's where I'm going to be, much like with your podcast, I'm going to be starting to, pull that because there's so many great content and I don't want to lose. I've just interviewed all these great people. So I'll be using this as an opportunity as well.
Yeah, I love it. And I just started using this software, which I'll show you. Tubix. Have you ever heard of it?
No, Tubix.
Apparently, I've owned this software for a really long time. I'm like the worst person. I buy software every day, and then I never use it. But apparently, I have this software, and it's absolutely amazing. It tells you absolutely everything that you need to do to every single video. It gives you the keywords, the tags, the competition, everything. Really? So awesome.
I use TubeBuddy and I've heard keywords everywhere. Keyword. I have same thing. I have all these things, but it's like I gotta use them. Tubix. This sounds. I've never heard of this.
It's so cool and it's so easy compared to those two. Like I use those two as well, but those two are like you have to analyze it and you have to figure it out yourself. This like figures it out for you. So
I love it.
It's taking forever to load, probably because of our video, but it's really awesome. Hi, Ingor. She said hi.
Hello. I sent her a text. I said, I'm going live in 2.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Okay. So it's taking forever to load, but it's really amazing.
Yeah. So. I do want to use also, have you heard of Descript, Descript? It's where you can download a video and it will, it pulls the transcription, but you can go in. So say you said black and you want to say white, you can actually go in and change it and it has AI to actually use your voice.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
You can actually go in and adjust it. And I have tried it and it's just so far so good. It's there's a free version, then a paid version. You get 10 hours of transcription a month, but it transcribes it. And then you can go in and so you can take a video, then go in and actually pull out the clip you want by looking at it in the actual words as opposed to going and listening.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That would be so much easier, especially when editing and cutting out all of the ums and things too.
Yeah, you can do that as well. So I'm just getting to the point I'm going to start looking into using that. So, but it came highly recommended. So.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. So one thing that I did notice when we are clicking on the YouTube link is that it actually opens in the same window or in the same tab. Okay. So that's one thing you might want to change because that's going to take someone away from your website and they're going to have to go back or they might think, oh, I lost her website or something like that. So all of the other ones opened perfectly in a new tab, but that one is the only one that did not.
So it did not open a new tab. Okay.
Yeah, it just opens over top of your website. So then people are losing, your website and they're getting to your YouTube, but then they lost your website. So
got you. Okay.
So that is awesome. You got your contact here. Yay. One couple things that are going to make it really easy for people on mobile to interact with your website is just to make these like clickable. So if you make this an actual link to email you and then an actual link to call you, then people can just, click that and they'll be able to call right from the mobile and they're not going to have to like type it in or copy it or whatever. Okay. So that is handy. Mm-hmm. And let's go over to LinkedIn. I've got messages. Okay. So I want to see where is your, oh. Okay. Somehow, where is the description? Can never remember where it is. change it a lot too.
I think if you go down to
There.
about, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. And I think, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think they now allow you to put links in there. Is that true?
You know what? That is something Ingrid may know, so I'll have to ask her.
Yeah, exactly. She's a great person.
Yes.
So if you can put links in there, you know, putting all of your links to all of your websites and all of your social media and all of those things where people can find you is going to be helpful, because then, you know, anyone on LinkedIn is going to be like, oh, I wonder if she has a YouTube channel. And then, you know, like, oh yeah, she does, you know. So making sure that all of those are connected. And another thing that helps with is Google, because it's going to let Google realize that, okay, this Gail Robertson is the same Gail Robertson on the GailNow YouTube channel, and she's also the same one on like LinkedIn and Instagram and Twitter and TikTok, and you know, it's just gonna kind of really give all of that information everywhere. So that's the main thing that I would say about any of your social media, just to have it make sure that you're linking to all of your other social media.
Okay.
And
that's a good
I'm gonna follow you. How am I not logged into Twitter?
I've got bumped out recently a few times. I don't know. It's like I had to go in and weird. Maybe that's part of their process of updating or something.
Oh wow, that's not even. I don't even remember how I log in. So, Twitter is not my thing, but I will follow you in a little bit. And that's why, because I'm not signed in. Oh yeah, I changed my password yesterday. I had this person texting me, or you know, like telling me that they were going to send me $1,000, and so I was like messing with them for a very long time, and then they got frustrated with me and left. But they were trying to hack my account. I was like, "Oh, Jeff Bezos is my cousin." I was like, I can't remember what phone number it is, because I've had 10 different phone numbers this year because everyone knows he's my cousin, and I was just silly, just being silly, but it was fun.
There's some definite strange things out there, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm like, why would anybody think that you're legitimately going to send them $1,000?
Now, this was what I usually do is put up, so that would have been last week's guest. So then when I do this week's, I'll update the link on there.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Awesome. I love that. And yeah.
And I do that because sometimes on TikTok I promote it, and then I say, see my link in the Instagram, because you can't, it's hard to put links in Instagram.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, that's great. I love that you have that connected. And you have the same name everywhere. So when we get to your Google, that should be able to pull up your Instagram and your LinkedIn, and hopefully, do you have Facebook? I don't remember.
I do, but I don't use it for work. I hardly use it at all anymore. I just sort of, it's more friends, family kind of thing.
Yeah, it just sits there, right?
Yeah,
like especially the business pages, like there's almost nothing to do with them now. It's like, I don't know, Facebook wrote themselves into that.
I have a business page, but it's on private. I just haven't ever set it up because I didn't want another item. It's not not usually my area. So
yeah. Oh, there we go. Finally followed you. So one of the things that I just learned from Rachel that I didn't know before is if you want to be able to link your Instagram and your YouTube channel to your TikTok, you can do it, which is awesome. You just have to switch to like a business account, and then it will give you these two little links. I'll show you. I just did it the other day, and I'm like, ooh, that's so cool.
So you have to switch your Instagram to a business account?
No, your TikTok.
The only thing when you do that, then you can't do the fun music.
I know. I noticed that after I did it, and I was like, oh, that stinks. But
I did have it as business for a while, but I wanted the music more.
Yeah.
But I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, somewhere, and now it doesn't show up on desktop, which no one really uses TikTok on desktop anyway, but there is a little link here that has like a Instagram, and then when you click on that, it goes directly to your Instagram and your YouTube. So I was like, oh, that's cool. But cool. So all of that looks amazing. And so now we're going on to Google My Business, and we are going to check out. It hasn't found you on Google My Business yet. And I'm thinking the reason for that is because you have your company name here, and you have, in most of the places, you have your personal name. So like you can see Gail Robertson, and then you have GailNow. So
I tend to use GailNow on most things, but should I change on Google My Business, have Gail Robertson, comment GailNow, or is it my business? Yeah.
You could do like GailNow, like dash Gail Robertson or something like that. And then that way, at least it's like knowing that like this is you on Google. This should be tied to your website. This should be tied to your, Instagram and your LinkedIn and all of those things. And once Google recognizes that, you're, this is the same person, then it's going to start displaying those review links down here. So you can, it'll show like a little Facebook icon, an Instagram icon. It even picks up Pinterest, believe it or not. If you have a Pinterest account that has the same name as your business, it will actually pick that up and put it there too. So super
That's
cool.
Interesting, because I use GailNow for so many things, but maybe not enough that it's not picking out. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying GailNow hyphen Gail Robertson as opposed to Gail Robertson hyphen GailNow, like have my business name first?
Whatever you do it the same way everywhere. So do it on LinkedIn, do it on Instagram, do it, anywhere that you are online, just be consistent. So you could do it either way, whatever you prefer, but whichever way you do it, just do it like that everywhere.
Okay. See, I would normally on my name here, I would probably put Gail Robertson on my GailNow. That's my name, my business. So
Yep. Then go ahead and do it that way. Okay. I would just say whatever way you do it, just make sure you do it all across the board, because then Google's going to be like, okay, this is the same person. This is the same business. And then that's how they're going to recognize it. So,
okay. Wow.
So
can you explain, you said I didn't show up. Where did you find I'm not, like, what does that mean? When you said I didn't show up on Google My Business or Google.
So it would normally show up here. I'll give you an example. I think mine picked up a couple of them, but I don't know which ones.
Oh, it picks up your social media, right? Okay. Now I see what you mean. Okay.
Let's see. I don't know. Maybe it didn't. Trying to think of what else. Let me see if we can do it. Trying to think of any of my.
That's okay. I now understand what you mean. It's regardless. I need to do some changes to that, and then I'll keep an eye out. And yeah. Now I understand now what that.
Awesome. It's just like there's just like a little icon down here that shows up, and it has like it's just basically the icons for those social media, platforms. So, with your Google My Business, you are missing your phone number and your business hours. So business hours for people like us, you can either set them, or you could literally set them for 24 hours, 7 days a week, because you're always available via email. Not necessarily that you're going to respond, but someone could reach out to you at 3 a.m. and then you respond to them in the morning or whatever. But so those are two different options. I think I have some hours set for mine, just like Monday through Thursday, I think. And then, but some businesses, I do recommend that they just set it for 24 hours because, if you don't have a specific office hours where you're available, you're sitting at your desk and you just kind of come and go and do whatever, then just set it for 24 hours. And, it's just giving Google that information helps them to know that your listing is complete.
Okay.
So,
and same thing with phone number, just put in, I just thought, do I need to put my phone number? But I guess I do.
Yep. Yeah. And you can get like a Google Voice number. I have like an UMA line for our home phone number, and that's like $6 a month. So you can do that. I don't have my home phone number on there, but I also have Twilio numbers through my CRM. So there's a million different ways you can get like a number that's not your cell phone. I did have my cell phone on there for a long time, but I changed it in the last year sometime. So,
Okay.
And then your description. So you're going to want to fill out a description, and this is like a really, really valuable. So I always call the description of your Google My Business a gift from Google, because they're giving you 750 characters to tell them and like your potential clients, more Google, about your business and who you should be, coming up for and those kind of things. So using those keywords like you were talking about at the beginning, like manufacturers for manufacturers. Wait, is that?
Oh, there's mold making, manufacturing, tool making, plastic,
Yes.
like those things. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So all of those keywords going into your description are going to be amazing.
Okay.
So that's going to be really valuable. And then you can also post more photos. You have a million great photos, so you can post photos up here. And you can also post some posts. So you could do like an event. I know you do a lot of events with your clients. So those type of things could be events that you actually post on your Google My Business. So that can help as well.
Now, I usually use for the posts, I will sometimes go back and use like a highlight from a blog post, or is that okay too, just to use content from a blog or an? Okay.
Yeah, definitely. And with the posts, they allow you to put like 1,500 characters. So you can literally just copy like a portion of your blog post and put it in there.
Okay.
I would say mainly like that first paragraph, because that's going to be where most of your keywords are, where you're talking about what you're actually going to talk about in the blog post. So that's like the most important part of that blog. So you said you post to your Google My Business, but I'm wondering if this is not.
I not on this one. Sorry, on a client. I do it on a client.
Okay. I was like, I wonder if this one is not claimed.
I haven't done it on mine yet, so that's what's it. I was checking to myself because it's on my list. It's been on my to-do list for a bit. So I will at least get these basic things done and do a couple of photos. And I have to change my photo because that's not my new headshot that I use across all my other platforms. So
yeah, awesome. And you can make a cover photo, which is going to be more visible on maps. Let's see if we can. Come on, it's not going to let me go to maps. It's probably not going to pull up on maps because you don't have a location-based business. What is the city that you're in, though?
Windsor, Ontario, Canada.
Windsor, Ontario. No, it's not going to pull up, but that's okay. But that cover photo will usually show up more on the maps portion than on the search portion. So, all right. So everything looks good. I think we kind of went over all of the things that,
Wow, this is just
little tiny itty bitty things, and those things, the main thing that you want to think about is just creating that network of keywords for Google to recognize you everywhere. So,
well, very helpful and great timing. I'm glad I signed up for this because not only, I always say that when I'm working with clients, I mean, part of the reason I even try to be on a variety of social media is that that is my main focus, working with manufacturers, how they can also use social media to a much greater degree. While I know a little bit about other aspects of digital marketing, really social media is kind of low-hanging fruit, especially for manufacturing, because it's easily accessible and everybody has one platform they're comfortable in. You usually say which one, and it's usually, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn. And that's one thing I say, LinkedIn should be your basic online business card, right?
Yeah. Yep. I agree. LinkedIn is awesome for business. And I think, it probably is very valuable for you based on, the people that you are working with and your ideal clients, I would think.
Right.
Yeah.
And I will say this because I have done some work with you in the past about your work with Google My Business. And While mine isn't in the best shape, you know, I will say you've done a phenomenal job because you're so specialized in Google My Business, and I know you say this all the time. It's like, and I still see. I said, if you don't have your Google My Business, like it's a really lost opportunity too. So
It is.
Thank you for niching on that, because when we first crossed paths, that's what I knew that was your specialty, and then obviously I can see that that's one part of what you do, but you also have a good understanding of all the other technical stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah, I love Google My Business. It's just it's literally like the most powerful free tool online, and it's so underutilized. And so, you know, it's just something that people think that it's something you claim and then you leave it there.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's even what a lot of SEO agencies tell you and do. But if you claim it and you leave it there, you're not giving Google any updated information. You're not giving it new information. And that's what Google loves. It loves that, you know, the fresh, newest, latest breaking information about your business. So, yeah.
That ain't Google Analytics, right? I often ask when people have it. They go, oh, I said, oh, do you have it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If you have any reports, you have anything to show me. And because if you don't have reports, at least are you looking at them regularly, right? So.
Yep. And Google Search Console. That's the other one.
Okay. Yeah, I do have that set up as well. So.
Yeah, that one I'm like, do you know if you have a sitemap? That's like one of the first things I ask people. They're like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, well, let's go look. So it's so funny. But yeah, that's a really important part of it too. But awesome. Well, thank you so much, Gail, for allowing me to poke around all of your tech and marketing tech and digital tech, whatever you would call what we just did.
Yeah.
And it was very fun. And I hope that you, got something out of it, which is the whole point. And also for anybody that's watching to realize some of the things that we talked about that might be going on with their own stuff. So,
yes, well, I was just going to say, I highly recommend, because I've been in touch with you in the past, and you've done a great job. You delivered as promised. And today, this was so valuable. I cannot tell you how helpful this is. And the timing, perfect. So greatly appreciate. And yeah, we'll be back in touch, I'm sure.
All right. That sounds great. Thank you, Gail.
Okay. Thanks, Amanda. Bye.